There's a strange trick the Stoics used whenever life felt uncertain, and it's the opposite of what every self-help book tells you to do. Instead of imagining things going well, they deliberately imagine them going wrong, on purpose, in detail. And somehow, it made them calmer, not more anxious. Today, you're going to learn exactly how and why it still works, 2,000 years later. By the end of this video, you'll know the exact technique, called by the Stoics premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils, how to actually practice it without spiraling into worst-case anxiety, and why this ancient method might explain more about modern anxiety treatment than most people realize. If you're anything like most people rebuilding their life after a transition, you probably do one of two things with uncertainty. You either avoid thinking about what could go wrong, pushing it away, distracting yourself, hoping it just doesn't come up, or you think about it constantly, in a loop that never actually resolves anything, just spins in place, getting louder. Both feel like opposite strategies. They're actually the same mistake. Avoidance and rumination are two versions of the same problem. An unexamined fear left to run in the background, controlling you more than if you'd simply looked at it directly. Here's what almost nobody tells you about fear. It's rarely about the event itself. It's about the vagueness of it. A specific bad outcome, fully imagined, is almost always more survivable than the formless dread of something could go wrong, I don't know what, and I can't prepare for it. Vagueness is what keeps anxiety running in the background all day, quietly draining you, because your mind can't finish a thought it never lets itself complete. The ancient Stoics understood this better than most modern anxiety management ever gives them credit for. Seneca, writing to a friend, described a practice he returned to constantly, deliberately picturing loss, failure, and hardship, not to suffer in advance, but to remove their power to ambush him. So why would imagining the worst possible outcome make anyone calmer? This is where it gets interesting, and where modern psychology has quietly caught up with something the Stoics figured out through observation alone. When you fully imagine a specific bad outcome, really sit with it, walk through it in detail, three things happen. First, you discover it's almost always survivable, not painless, survivable. Your mind, left unchecked, tends to imagine catastrophe as something closer to annihilation. But when you actually walk through what happens if this relationship doesn't work out, or what happens if this career change fails, you usually arrive somewhere unexpected. You'd still be a person, still breathing, still capable of building something next. The catastrophe your anxious mind sells you is almost always worse than the one you actually construct when you look directly at it. Second, you often discover the outcome isn't even the worst part. It's usually the story you tell yourself about it. I failed. I wasted years. I'm not capable. That does the real damage, not the event itself. We covered this before. It's the verdict, not the event, that breaks people. Premeditatio malorum forces you to separate the two in advance, so the verdict doesn't ambush you later. Third, and this is the part most people miss, deliberately imagining loss makes you appreciate what you currently have with unusual clarity. Not in a forced, gratitude journal way, in a real way, because you've just spent several minutes genuinely imagining its absence. This is why the Stoics didn't consider this a pessimistic practice. They considered it one of the most reliable paths to actually feeling present in your own life. So here's how this actually works in practice, not as abstract philosophy, but as something you can do the next time worry starts running the show. Here's the method in 3 steps, designed specifically so it doesn't turn into spiraling. Step 1. Name the specific fear, not the vague one. Not, what if everything falls apart? That's too big to hold. Instead, what if this specific job application gets rejected? Or what if this relationship ends? Specificity is what makes this practice safe. Vagueness is what makes ordinary worry dangerous. Step 2. Walk through it fully, once, with a time limit. Give yourself 5 minutes, no more. Picture the outcome happening. Picture the actual moment. Then picture the day after. Then picture yourself, still standing, a month later. This isn't about wallowing. It's about proving to your own nervous system that the story continues past the moment it's currently stuck on. Step 3. Return to the present with one honest sentence. Something like, even if that happens, I would still be here and I would still find a way forward. This isn't toxic positivity. It's evidence gathered from the exercise you just did, not a slogan borrowed from somewhere else. The Stoics used this before difficult conversations, before uncertain decisions, before anything that felt too big to hold. Not to expect the worst, to remove its power to surprise them, and more often than they expected, to remind themselves of exactly how much they still had to lose, which is another way of saying how much they still had. Before you go, think of one uncertainty you've been avoiding or circling for weeks. Just name it, specifically, right now in your mind. Not the vague version, the real one. That's the whole practice, in its smallest form. Not solving the fear, just finally looking directly at it, which, more often than not, is the exact moment it stops running your life from the shadows. This channel is for people quietly rebuilding their foundation, one honest fear at a time. If this found you at the right moment, stay a while. I'll see you in the next one.